Paul Newman wasn't the type to badmouth his co-stars. He wasn't Hollywood's most social guy, hated the attention, avoided interviews when he could, but on set, he got along with almost everyone. He built lifelong friendships with Robert Redford and Jackie Gleason. He mentored Tom Cruise. Even when a movie wasn't great, he didn't throw his co-stars under the bus. Except for one. The year was 1958. Newman had just landed one of his biggest roles yet, The Long Hot Summer, a steamy Southern melodrama based on William Faulkner's stories. He played a drifter who stirs up trouble in a wealthy Mississippi family. Wells played the overbearing patriarch, a powerhouse role, and one that put him head-to-head with Newman. On paper, this was a dream matchup, old Hollywood royalty versus the new generation. In reality, it was a disaster. Newman called Wells standoffish, saying he was distant, difficult, and deeply uncomfortable around the younger actors. And there was a reason for that. Newman, Joanne Woodward, and Anthony Franciosa had all trained in method acting. They were all about script analysis, backstory, motivation. Wells, meanwhile, came from the old school. The guy made Citizen Kane. He didn't have time for the new age method acting crowd. And he hated sharing the spotlight. Newman said Wells would stretch out his dialogue just to keep the camera on himself longer. At one point, he even pulled director Martin Ritt aside to complain that Newman was hogging too much attention, which, coming from Orson Welles, is hilarious. Orson couldn't understand screen generosity, where one actor allows another player in his scene to deservedly get the best camera shots, Newman said. Ritt had directed plenty of difficult actors, so knew exactly what was happening. I took a lot of crap from him, he said, because I knew that extraordinary figure would be there on the screen. And he was right, Wells did make an impression, but he also made the shoot hell. Wells apparently mumbled through his lines like Marlon Brando used to do. Some say Wells did it on purpose, muttering through scenes like some kind of passive-aggressive protest against the method actors around him. Others think it was just bad habits. Either way, Ritt had to clean it up in post-production. But the biggest issue was the heat. They shot the film on location in Louisiana, in the middle of one of the hottest Septembers on record. Wells was sweating constantly, which didn't help his heavy makeup, or the prosthetic nose he insisted on wearing. It kept slipping off mid-scene, forcing take after take. Angela Lansbury later put it bluntly, he was very, very heavy. He had thick makeup on. He was sweating constantly. He was having terrible difficulty living in his own skin. Another reason why Wells was such a pain in the ass on this one. By the time filming ended, Ritt had earned himself the title, the man who tamed Orson Welles. Newman probably didn't love being part of that process, but the film was a hit. He got some of the best reviews of his career, though Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, which came out 5 months later, quickly overshadowed it. As for Wells, he didn't exactly disappear, but his career had already taken some detours. He still made incredible films, but his Hollywood days of calling the shots were mostly behind him. And Newman never worked with Wells again. So yeah, Paul Newman, who had all the patience in the world for method actors, comedians, and even young, cocky Tom Cruise, absolutely could not stand Orson Welles as a co-star. And honestly, can you blame him?